Kingsman: The Golden Circle, sequel to Kingsman: The Secret Service. Is it any good and worth watching for a sequel? Find out in 3 seconds. Are those things actually 3 seconds long? I always just say the number. I don't really know. It's 4. Whatever.
So Kingsman: The Golden Circle starts off with a bang, with one of the best car chase scenes I've ever seen. This leads to the explosion and the destruction of the Kingsman organization, leaving only 2 members alive. Merlin, played by Mark Strong, and Eggsy, played by Taron Egerton. The 2 of them have to go into the secret vault for the Doomsday scenario, where they find a whiskey bottle with Statesman. And so now they head to the United States to meet up with the Statesman for assistance in getting back to whatever it is that happened to destroy the Kingsman organization. Now, what did destroy it was the Golden Circle. The Golden Circle is led by Julianne Moore's character, Poppy, and she is this maniacal, evil business lady who is in charge of all drug trafficking worldwide.
This movie does not hit the brakes at all. It continues running through, and it is a pleasure in terms of pacing to watch a movie that doesn't remind you that it's a movie. Now, what's interesting about Kingsman is that with this movie, they've introduced a plethora of new characters, including characters that played by Halle Berry, Channing Tatum, Jeff Bridges, etc., etc., etc. Pedro Pascal. There are a lot of new characters, and Kingsman does an excellent job at juggling these new characters with the old characters.
This is still a Kingsman movie. It's not a Statesman movie, so despite all these new characters, they're sort of in the background, and our Kingsmen are still in the foreground. It does follow the same beats as the first one, and you do get a lot of the homages to the first one as well.
Remember that last scene in Kingsman when Eggsy scores? There's a lot of callbacks to that. Remember when the manners maketh men scene was done twice in the first Kingsman movie? You're gonna see that. Remember when Eggsy and Galahad were standing in front of the mirror? You're gonna see that. There's so many scenes that you just call back to, and so much continuity that was contained in the first movie and is extended in the second movie. I just really think it's a joy to watch. It tells me that the director and the writing staff of this movie really cared about continuing the story, and by calling back those elements, it just makes me feel like this is another great Kingsman movie.
Now let's talk about Julianne Moore's performance as Poppy. I think she's fantastic in it. It's another villain just like Samuel L. Jackson the first, who's a little bit eccentric, a little bit off, and yet has this big sweeping plan for the entire world and just threatening the entire globe as having this James Bond villain-like grasp on everything.
She doesn't really do anything that's anything different from Samuel L. Jackson. She's just a different flavor of it.
And of course, you actually do have a couple villains in this, and we won't spoil as to who the others are. Channing Tatum is really good in this movie, although I thought he's a little bit underutilized. He's not in the movie as much as I'd like to see him.
Channing Tatum is big talent, and I find it surprising that they only use him for about 5 to 10 minutes. When he's there, the character is great, but I wish I got to see more of him, which is kind of a shame. More screen time goes to Halle Berry, who plays her role pretty well. And some of the other statesmen who are new characters in this film are definitely well played. Now, of course, we can't talk about Kingsman without talking about the action, which continues to be well done in this movie. Now you get some high-class British spy action meets Western lassoing, rootin' tootin' fun. I just love watching the way they fight, and they're just so inventive about their technology. It's always, where are they going to pull out and how are they going to use it? I saw a suitcase being used as a grenade launcher in this movie, and that satisfies me on a deep personal level. Kingsman I've always loved partly because of the inventive ways that they come out with combat. Like, the umbrella is always really cool, but now you have this electric lasso that you can use to, like, electrocute people and stuff. They really push the edges of how ridiculous can we make this new weapon without, like, you know, making it so off the walls that people just won't believe us anymore.
There is a spy condom in this film, which I just died laughing trying to all the jokes they pulled with that one. I'll leave that to the viewers to see the movie. I'm not gonna spoil it, but the spy condom, that was hysterical to me.
Final scores. Kingsman is not a movie that treads new ground. It's not a movie that tries to be something different. It's a movie that ends up staying the same in terms of tone for the first Kingsman, and that's not a bad thing. I give Kingsman an 8 out of 10. It's a comfort food movie. It is really good. It doesn't tread new ground, but you know what? That's okay.
I'm giving it a 7.5 out of 10. I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. It's just not as good as the original Kingsman to me. But to me, the original Kingsman's about an 8. This one's 7.5, just underneath.
It's very American.
Yeah, it is.
Kingsman The Secret Circle, the sequel to Kingsman The Golden Service. Or alternatively, Kingsman The Golden Service, sequel to Kingsman The Secret Circle.
Kingsman the Ryan Seacrest.
Kingsman The Ryan Seacrest, sequel to Kingsman The Nicole Richie.